It's the Tony Tone Show on Vintage Sound 93.1 FM on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline. You may have seen him this past Sunday night on Showtime. Roadies, also stand-up comedian for a long time. Very successful. You might say wildly popular across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in saying hello to Ron White. Hey, man.
Hey, Tony. What's up, buddy?
I am doing good, buddy. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Here, sitting here in Southern California and soaking up the sun.
Oh, man. It's probably just a little bit different weather-wise here in the great state of Iowa. We have this thing, Ron, I don't know if you remember it. It's called humidity. It's the worst.
Yeah, we're on fire. So that's the opposite of humidity, I think. This is so arid out here that, we haven't had any rain hardly at all this year. And there's a big fire that which is the reason I can't see downtown L.A. right now.
I was going to say, because if you're at the house, I'm thinking that house isn't that old, right? I don't want that to catch on fire, Ron.
No, we don't either. It took forever to make it, so. But I doubt it will. I don't think we're too vulnerable here, but you never know, man. Once those things, if you get those Santa Ana winds going, those big fires, they spread like wildfire.
Ron, has it been interesting for you with the success of Roadies on Showtime? It's a great show. People are digging it. Has it happened yet where, because people, obviously you have a huge fan base with stand-up comedy tour and the career that you've had in comedy, but have you encountered people that just know you now from the work on Roadies? Yes,
and I think that's as cool as it can be. Because I didn't know that would happen. I really didn't think of that before it happened. That somebody just came up to me and only knew me as an actor, and just complimented me on my acting. So, I've been a prominent comic for a long time, and I've done stand-up for 30 years, so I'm good at it, and I know it. And so, but anytime somebody says something good about my acting, I just melt. So, but yeah, people come up to me, it's fairly rare that somebody won't know me from stand-up and that know me from that, but it does happen, and when it does, I really enjoy it.
So the episode that just aired on Sunday with Roadies and your character Road Dog, did you read about that character and maybe some of the script before you said yes, or were you just so excited to work with the good people that are on Roadies? What was that like for you? The process to getting to Roadies.
Well, it's kind of an odd story, but I did read the pilot. But when I got the call to read for it, my roadie, my road manager, a guy named Steve Cook, who had been my best friend since I was 6 years old, was dying of cancer at Cedars-Sinai here in L.A. And I get the call to read for a part as the road manager. And so I told Steve, I said, I'm going to go read for a part. And he goes, who are you going to play? And I said, I'm going to play you in this one. And so I went down to Cameron's office, and I opened my mouth and sobbed for 20 minutes uncontrollably. First time I cried over the whole thing.
Wow.
Why I picked that minute, I have no idea. And I just got up and left, and I couldn't control myself. And I was like, well, that's probably not what they were looking for. And but it turns out it was. So it worked out great. The few weeks later, Cameron called me back and said, why don't we take another look at this? And because he knew what was going on. So, he just appreciated the fact that I care enough about another human being that I can't control myself.
No, I'm sorry to hear about that, and I think that Cameron Crowe to be that understanding, because that's a guy like yourself and the success that you've had. Cameron Crowe is a guy, he's like on a whole nother level, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and he's just he's just a great guy and just so talented, but he's one of those guys that it's easy to forget just how talented he is because he's such a normal guy. He just loves to talk about music. His knowledge of music is so incredibly deep, and his ability to make these sweet and wonderful movies and this show has a real sweetness to it. A lot of people thought it was going to be a really dark film about hate and drugs and sex and rock and roll. And sex and drugs and rock and roll are definitely in the backdrop of it because it's rock and roll. But that's not the focal point of it at all. It's about it's about the relationships of the people that live on the road together, this extended family. And so there's a lot of really cool subject matter there that's not just pound the drugs and the sex in your face. So the show has really got a lot of heart.
It absolutely does, and people are recognizing that. You know, I have friends that are just starting Roadies, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I slept on this one. So if people aren't watching it, it's Sunday nights, 9 o'clock on Showtime. Roadies, great show. If we pivot to stand-up comedy, my friend, you are coming to the great state of Iowa on November 19th, and I know that you're the kind of guy that takes things one day at a time, but I was looking at your schedule, and I didn't even realize that, so I'm excited that you're going to be in our neck of the woods, man.
I didn't even know it, but I don't follow it. So you would, if you've gone into any trouble, you'd know more than I do. But if I'm coming, I mean, I've been there many times. I played Davenport. I guess there's still a Funny Bone there, but I've played that club a million times in the 16 years that it took me to become an overnight success.
Isn't it incredible, Ron? I mean, your story with stand-up is inspiring, and then I know it's been a few years, but when you get the call about nation, you know, things like that, awards, being recognized, what kind of feeling is that for you? Because you're a guy that had a regular job and then got into comedy and really worked hard at it. So when you get that phone call, where are you at, and what do you do immediately after?
Well, you know, it's even weirder if you know where I'm from. Exactly. I mean, I'm from a little bitty, tiny dirt town, a town made out of dirt in northwest Texas called Fritch, Texas. And to go from there to where I got to, that's pretty bizarre. Sure. Because nobody else in Fritch did it, or ever did, and. So it's been an amazing journey, but I never had my sights set on this. I never did. I mean, I never thought I'd be a huge comic. I loved, headlining comedy clubs. I made what I consider to be a good living, and I wasn't paying my taxes, so it made it seem like I made even more money. And this is just what happened as a result of me doing what I loved, and I didn't start till I was 29.
Wow.
And I was really confused as to what I was supposed to do with my life, and because my brain only does that, I got a really weird brain, and I don't have a high school diploma. My brain won't do conventional stuff, and so when I walked on stage the first time, I went, "Oh, I'm a comedian." Well, I'll be darned. Why didn't somebody tell me? It would have made things a lot easier if I had just known. But I knew as soon as I walked on stage that that's what I was supposed to do, so that's what I did.
I love that. It's such a good thing because that's how I feel about. I'm so fortunate being able to do morning radio, minus waking up at 4 a.m. It's not my favorite thing, but being able to communicate with people on a daily basis makes it all worthwhile, and I think we share that in common. And your work ethic is also very inspiring. I appreciate that you're the kind of guy that will work in new material, and you're not afraid to try things and different specials and tours, and I also like that, because you could sell out just the big cities, but you'll come to a Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it'll be sold out because people adore you.
Well, you know what? I adore them too. I really have a love affair with my fans, and I appreciate them. And I do work hard at this still. I mean, work harder at it now than I ever did, because I live in right next to West Hollywood, and so every night that I'm home, I do 3 sets.
Wow!
So I go to the Improv Laugh Factory Comedy Store, and work the beats out on new stuff, and that's where all the big boys live in either L.A. or New York. So you can hit those clubs and do successive sets, short sets, 15-minute sets. And so if you're working on something and you don't like the way it worked, you can go straight to another club and try it again, straight to another club and try it again. So that's how to develop material. So then I do that every night, not just some nights. Every night I'm home.
Well, I hope you continue. And again, Showtime with Roadies, Sundays, 9 o'clock. Ron White in person, November 19th in Cedar Rapids at the Paramount Theater. I hope to see you at the show, buddy. Continued success, and thank you for the time this morning. I truly appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much. And Tony, I hope to see you in Cedar Rapids.
Will do, buddy. Be well, okay?
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.